Okay, so we're going to practice pulling a print of marbled paper. And so I think we probably talked about this already, but when we're making marbled paper, we are making something that is a pattern design. So we're making all kind of colors and patterns on our paper. And we're gonna do that by starting with our bath, so our tray of liquid that's got kind of a gel and water substance that helps us float paint or ink on top of it. So we're going to start off with our bath, then we're going to take our different paints or inks, and we can do a couple different things. The first thing we can do is we can drop some paint into our some paint into our bath, and you guys can see how my paint is going to start to spread throughout that water. It's going to be really pretty. And it's spreading and spreading and spreading. And this is going to help me make a really colorful paper with a design on it. There we go. And I'm not trying to make the paint, I'm just trying to let the paint sit on the surface of my bath. So I'm not trying to make anything go all the way down to the bottom. I'm not trying to even have my paint dropper, my little plastic dropper here. I'm not trying to have it touch my bath. I'm just kind of letting things drop from up in the air. And you guys can see even now, I'm starting to make some designs with my ink. So I could do this. I could let my ink, there we go, just kind of float on the surface of the paper. And that'll get some cool designs. So if I like this design, if I keep making drops and drops, maybe little drops, maybe some really big drops. Maybe I make some designs I really like that way. There we go. Maybe I even make some drops inside other drops. So if I like the design I've created right now, I could stick with that. I've got a couple different colors. I've got some really cool big blobs and dots. So I've made something called a stone pattern because all of my little dots of ink look like stone. If I'm gonna try out doing something different to my design, I can use my stylus here, my pointy stylus, to come through and just kind of drag. There we go. Just kind of drag through my design. So can you see how I'm just using my pointy stylus to drag through my design and maybe make some different shapes. Oh, that's fun. I've made some things that look kind of like heart shapes, or maybe even just like squiggles. Whee, I'm gonna make a spiral. There we go. Maybe I'll wipe my stylus off so it's clean for later. If I like that design, I could go ahead and pull a print. But if you guys want to see one more thing I can do with my ink before I press my paper down and get my design, we'll do that. So we've got dropping ink onto our bath, onto our paper. We've got moving ink around with a stylus to make this cool swirly pattern. And another thing we can do is we can get a comb. So do you see how my comb has not just one thing that's pointy like my stylus, but a whole bunch of rows of different pointy edges And what I'm gonna do is I'm literally gonna comb through my bath, almost like I'm making a grid pattern. So let's see what happens. So I could comb through my bath kind of back and forth to get a different design. All right, I'm gonna wipe that comb off. So I got my paper towel so I can wipe off all of my tools in between. All right, I actually think I'm gonna stick with this design. I've got all kinds of things happening at once now, and it looks really neat. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my paper and I'm gonna look for a little pencil W mark. So I have just in this corner here a little W. And on that corner of the paper where I've got the W, that's the corner I know, or that's the side of the paper I know, needs to go flat down into the water of my bath. So to get my design onto my bath and onto my paper, I'm gonna go ahead and really gently set my paper down in my bath. So I'm gonna kind of make a little U shape and then just boop, 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 set my paper down. There we go. And we can see I'm not pressing it all the way down to the bottom. I'm just kind of letting the paper sit on the surface of my bath. Whoa, and you guys can you see how all of my pretty ink just stayed on the surface of my paper now? And I've got this really cool design on there. All right, that's pretty wet, but I'm gonna let that sit for a minute to dry out. All right, wait, one more shot. Look at that! Oh, I'm so excited about my pretty marbled paper.